today's class, everybody. It's a little bit early in the morning here, so I'm still waking up. So today we're looking at advanced idioms and phrasal verbs. As I've said many times now, this is taken from a white book called Advanced Idioms and Phrasal Verbs, and you can find it by using Google or Amazon or any other search engine. Lots of the phrasal verbs that are in today's class are in my book, so if you would like some exercises, please buy my book on Amazon or on skypelessons.com if you want a PDF. So let's get started. To buck the trend. Now, to buck the trend means not follow the trend. And it's usually used in economic situations when you're discussing a business, how profitable it has been, how lucrative it has been. And let's say that the trend in this industry is declining, that profits are usually going down, businesses are failing and going bankrupt, but one business is bucking the trend. That would mean that it's doing something different. It's not following the trend. Yeah, it's not going bankrupt. It's doing really well. It's making lots of money. So it's quite often business related, this buck the trend. Now, to slim down, it means to slim. I mean, it's pretty similar to the verb to slim, to get slimmer. Remember that slim is an adjective usually, and slim is the opposite of, say, fat, something like that. A slim person would be quite thin. And if you slim down, then you get thinner. But it's very often used metaphorically here. You might say that the company has decided to slim down the number of staff members, something like that, and then they're downsizing. They're perhaps making people redundant in order to have a smaller number of employees. So slim down just means get smaller, get thinner, decrease in some kind of way. Now, if a business decides to branch out, branches are on the tree, yeah, and if a business decides to branch out, it usually means that it's going to start doing business in a new sector, in a new area, maybe with a new product. So branching out involves going into new areas. Because that's what happens when the tree grows, yeah, the branches go out and go into new places. So anytime a business decides to branch out, it's going into a new area or starting to sell a new product or looking at a new market segment, something like that. Okay, if you win somebody back or you win something back, that means that you manage to get something which used to belong to you. Now, it could mean that if you win a girl back, maybe she's in love with you and then she doesn't like you and then you win her back. That's one way of using this phrasal verb. But the way it's used in advanced phrasal verbs and idioms is to win customers back. So these customers were loyal customers and then they went to a different business, but you managed to win them back. Yeah, you managed to persuade them to come back. Do remember win somebody over here, which means to persuade somebody. If you win somebody over, you manage to persuade them. You bring them round. They come round. All those phrasal verbs are good. They mean persuade. And again, they're all in the book. Okay, if you have something or somebody in mind, it just means that that thing or person is on your mind at that moment. So it means that you have an idea about this thing or about this person. I think it's quite straightforward, that one. So if you have, maybe there's a vacancy in your company, but you have somebody in mind who's suitable to fill that vacancy. So you have that person in mind. That's the one who you think should take that position. If you rush around, you're rushing everywhere, yeah? I mean, if you're rushing around at work, then it sounds like you have a lot on your plate. You're up to your eyeballs in work, yeah? There's a lot of good idioms for when you need to rush around. So you're very, very busy when you're rushing around and you're doing many, many different things at once. Now, if you're doing many different things at once and you're rushing around, you probably get all hot and bothered. Now, this very often means a little bit irritated as well. There's irritation when you say you're all hot and bothered. And it's very often when you're snowed under at work, you get all hot and bothered. You get irritated because you're rushing around, you're rushed off your feet. It's another one to remember for rush around, to be rushed off your feet. Because you've got so much on your plate. And so, of course, you get irritated and you get all hot and bothered. Okay, if you wind somebody up, you irritate them. And if you get wound up, you get irritated. So please remember that wind somebody up, it means annoy or irritate. And as I was growing up in this country, I heard this phrasal verb a lot. It's very, very common, so it's well worth remembering. Now, if you call for somebody, when I was a kid again, it used to mean you went round, you knocked on the door and you knocked for that person. You called for that person. In other words, you knocked for them so that they could come outside or you could go somewhere together. So to call for someone means to go to their house in order to ask them to come out with you somewhere. But do remember that you can pick somebody up if you're giving them a lift. Yeah, you pick somebody up. And the opposite would be drop somebody off somewhere. And you can also call in on somebody. Now, this just means to go, this is different from call for. Call for somebody, you're going to go and go to another place when you call for somebody. If you call in on somebody, that means you're going to their place and you're going to see them at their place. So it's more, call in on is the same as pop round, pop in, stop by, drop round, swing by. We got loads of phrasal verbs for when you call in on somebody. Okay, if you've got any questions, guys, do put them at the end of the video because it's impossible for me to teach what's on the board and read your comments. So I'm really sorry about that. If you have bags of something, that means you have lots of something. You have plenty of something. And we very often use this bags of with human qualities. So the example in the book was to have bags of confidence. And yeah, it collocates really well with confidence, to have bags of confidence, to have loads of confidence. But you could have bags of something else as well. He's got bags of, I can't think of many good ones now I say it, but it works really well with confidence. To be really confident, to have bags of confidence. Because I wouldn't say he has bags of money, I'd say he has pots of money, something like that. It's different words with different nouns collocate well. And so this one does work well with confidence. So I'm going to actually write that, to have bags of confidence. Okay, if you can't take your eyes off somebody, that means that it sounds like they're very attractive because you can't take your eyes off them. And so they're so pretty that you can't stop looking at them, or so handsome that you can't stop looking at them. So that sounds quite positive, like the person you're looking at is someone really attractive. But if you can't look somebody in the eye, that sounds like you have